Hello, aspirants, and a very warm welcome to today's explainer, brought to you by Rungta IAS Academy. I'm Faculty 1, and I'm joined today by Faculty 2. We're jumping right in to decode a topic of absolute critical relevance for your general studies papers 1 and 2. We're looking at the longevity paradox in women's health.
Thank you. Let's start by looking at a classic UPSC-style trick question. Picture this: you're sitting before the interview board, and they ask you, why are women living longer globally but suffering more? Now, this isn't just some theoretical paradox, aspirants. It's the absolute core of the gender health gap. Let's break down the data to understand why mere survival doesn't automatically equal good health.
Exactly. And to answer that question effectively, you absolutely must know this precise definition for your mains answer introductions. We all know basic life expectancy, right? But HALE, which stands for Healthy Life Expectancy, adjusts that number by discounting the years spent dealing with illnesses, chronic pain, and disability. Please note this down. It's the crucial difference between simply being alive and actually living well. Now, if we consider the WHO Global Health Statistics Report 2026 estimates, female life expectancy stands at 76 years compared to the male average of 71. That's a clear 5-year advantage. But pay close attention to the HALE numbers. The healthy years gap is much narrower, with women at 64 and men at 62. So despite decades of medical progress, the gap between how many healthy years women actually get versus men simply hasn't moved.
So what exactly is driving this? Well, the structural divide is really quite stark. Men generally face higher mortality rates, meaning they die earlier from things like cardiovascular disease, accidents, and violence. But this female advantage of lower mortality is tragically offset by a massive, underdiagnosed burden of morbidity. Women endure highly disproportionate rates of chronic pain disorders, gynecological diseases, and mental health conditions.
And this brings up a fantastic analytical point for your essays. You see, lower female mortality from COVID-19 initially seemed to offer a HALE advantage for women. However, the pandemic-related erosion of mental health completely wiped out those healthy life gains. It literally erased 2 whole decades of progress on mental health conditions that, as we know, disproportionately affect women.
Faculty 2. Section 1. The Indian Woman's Burden. Let's map these global concepts strictly to the Indian socioeconomic landscape so you can use them in your GS papers.
Consider this staggering statistic. 53.7% of Indian women of reproductive age are anemic. I really want to emphasize that. Anemia. That is over half the female reproductive population, and it's nearly double the global rate. If you're discussing nutritional security or maternal health in the exam, this is a high-yield point you absolutely must have memorized.
And unfortunately, this health deficit is heavily compounded by physical vulnerability. 1 in 5 partnered Indian women faced intimate partner violence in the past year alone. At 20.3%, this is almost double the world figure. When you're evaluating the role of women in GS1, you need to link this directly to the deep-rooted patriarchal issues that severely impact everyday well-being.
The financial reality makes this suffering even worse. 30.9% of Indian households face catastrophic health spending. That means they're forced to spend over 40% of their discretionary budgets just on healthcare. What this clearly shows us is how sustained treatment for female morbidity is put completely out of reach for most families. Women simply cannot afford to treat chronic pain.
Section 2, Exam Strategy and Value Additions. Let's talk about how to synthesize this raw epidemiological data to fetch those extra marks.
Here's exactly how you structure it. When writing your answers, you want to shift the examiner's focus from mere survival, which is mortality, to daily quality of life, which is morbidity. You have to highlight the silent burden of untreated pain and underdiagnosed mental health. Link the data on anemia and intimate partner violence directly to severe productivity loss. Ultimately, use these points to prove how poor everyday health systematically limits a woman's financial independence and societal participation.
We're going to leave you with this provocative, interview-ready thought today. If our healthcare systems are merely designed to keep women alive, when will they be designed to keep them healthy? Make sure to use this specific framing in your UPSC journey to show real depth of thought. Thank you for joining this Explainer Masterclass, aspirants. Review your notes, practice your answers, and we'll see you in the next one.